What is up, everybody, and welcome to the FPL WildCats Live. Thank you for joining us. I am here with Brett from FPL TV and Kurtjoy, and we will be joined by Ray at half-time, as usual. So we're here to watch the Everton versus Man City game, do some FPL scouting, hope for some FPL points to either make our game week better or to continue our good game weeks. So, guys, thanks for joining, and looking forward to anything in this game in particular.
Yeah, we've both got Sterling captain, me and Kurt.
God.
Kurt's having a really good game week, I think. I'm having a disaster, so I really need Sterling to salvage the game week.
How many points are you on, Brett?
Before the game tonight, I was only on 56.
Oh, blimey. Okay.
Yeah, disaster, mate. Disaster.
Ouch.
No Gundogan, so no Gundogan. I had the Ben Mee injury. I went Ben Mee over Loughton the other week. For more money, I weighed them both up. I thought Ben Mee has the more goal threat, and then Loughton goes and scores, for more money.
Loughton had a great game in that game, to be fair to him. When I was watching that game, I was thinking, the first maybe 20 minutes, I was thinking, oh dear, I've made a mistake here. And I was like, Eric Peters, why didn't I even think of Eric Peters? He was 4.3 at the time, I think. And then literally suddenly Loughton just switched on a gear, and I was like, okay.
Thing is, I think Loughton in general is a quality player, and I had the money. I've got $1 million in the bank. I could have gone with Ben Mee, but one of my main rules is that unless there's a centre back like Virgil van Dijk that's about 3,000 feet taller than anyone else, or someone like Branislav Ivanovic that is going to score loads of goals, I generally try and stick to fullbacks.
Well, just to join you guys in it, Glenn has triple captain Sterling. So he's really wanting some points.
Okay. I mean, he had the chance, didn't he, Sterling, in the last game toward the end of the game?
Yeah, exactly.
It was the only save Lloris made, really. The one save he makes was Sterling. And without Gundogan, it was just a painful watch, really.
Do you have any other Man City cover, or?
I had double defence, but Diaz was benched, obviously, so I only had the one clean sheet there. So it put me behind those with Cancelo and Diaz, every little thing that could go wrong did, really. And in FPL sometimes we say it was a good week to have a bad week because it's kind of a bad week for everyone. I feel this week was a bad week to have a bad week because in the content league, for example, everyone's on 80, 90 and I'm on 50. It's
I know, I went to that and thought
so far.
I was like, how much higher am I than everyone else when I was looking at my scores near 100, and I was like, oh, I'm not that much higher than everyone else. So it wasn't as big a week. Yeah. See, for me, it's never a bad week to have a good week, but it just doesn't feel as good as it should be when you're getting over 100 points. You hear stories of people getting over 100 points and seeing their rank rise tremendously. Oh, and my daughter's just come to visit, so carry on, guys.
No worries, mate. No worries. Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't expect this kind of consistency from Gundogan. I had the chance to bring him in. And I thought, you know what? Typically, for the last few years, he's been a more defensive player. 5 years in the league, maybe, and he's only scored a couple of goals. So I just didn't expect this kind of transformation. And the last couple of weeks, he scored two braces back to back, and it feels like everyone's got him but me, So it's just a nightmare, really. And I had my biggest differential this week was Rashford against West Brom.
That's not a bad shout, yeah.
I know, and he blanked. So it's what a waste of money Rashford's been the last couple of weeks, honestly. Yeah, he's got Newcastle next. I'll keep him for that one. But Rashford's been such a bad differential for me, even with good fixtures. When you watch them play as well, Rashford never looks that dangerous, So,
well, I think the problem is, I watched a bit of the United game, and it was well pointed out by the commentary team pretty early on that when they don't have Greenwood, when they play a front three with Cavani up top, Martial and Rashford,
stick him on the right.
One of them's got to go on the right, and Rashford has the short straw. So you got Martial cutting in on his right foot, looking threatening. You've got Cavani up top in his natural position, and you got Rashford in neither of his natural positions, either left wing or striker. So
so true. He's really ineffective on the right. So he put some good crosses in. Like I like Rashford, you know, but when you watch the game, he just never looks threatening, and he never really gets into the box, and that's what you don't want to see, that when you're paying so much for a player, you know. So
he's one of those players, I think, that you just put him in and then you worry you're not going to get points. And I hate that feeling.
Yeah, I said it last time, I think, but he's the kind of player that when you watch him, he never passes the eye test. It's always like you feel a bit lucky to get points from him. He was in good form before I bought him as well, but one goal, I bought him in game week 18 and he scored once in like 8 games since. That's mad, you know?
Especially as their form's been a bit up and down, but they did have that period where they were on good form.
Yeah. Even in that like 9-0, he got a goal and an assist in that one, but he got subbed early and only got the 9 points, so it wasn't
compared to other players.
Yeah, that's his biggest score for me, a 9-pointer. The rest have been 5s, 2s, 1s. It's been pretty poor.
And he's not one of those that turns up when the rest of the team haven't. Unlike, say, your Bruno, where like it's not a great performance, but then Bruno pulls out a goal that.
Yeah, he's a match winner, Fernandes, isn't he?
Yeah. I was really looking forward to this game. I'm so gutted that so many players are out.
So who have you got in this one?
I had Ilkay and I had DCL and I had Stones.
Oh yeah, of course.
So yeah. So all I've got left is Cancelo.
Did you start DCL this week in the end then, or
no? Because I just thought I went for the risk of Antonio. Because I thought if he starts, it's against Sheffield. And I was Sheffield United. Almost. And, I had Bamford as first sub, because I was like, you know what, Bamford will play. So, if Antonio doesn't play, there's a chance DCL doesn't play in either. At least I know Bamford will play. So I do have 2 points to come in, I think.
Looks like Yerry Mina might be coming off here.
Yeah, I've seen that. He had his calf stretched out.
That could be interesting in terms of Man City's attack. I'm not sure if he's going off or not yet, but he's receiving treatment. Yeah.
Someone's warming up.
Coleman,
he looks as if he's walking really sort of gingerly on it. So if he does come back on, it's a bit of a risk. But if you are going to risk someone's injury, you know, against a team that has been annihilating everyone they face, it's probably the time to do it.
Yeah, I was feeling positive about Man City's chances tonight because, I mean, Everton just lost to Fulham, didn't they? Like 2-0. So that made me feel more positive about Sterling's chances. But like Jay said, without De Bruyne or Gundogan,
so
it's not as if this is you know, first few games of the season Fulham. This is a Fulham that's rejuvenated and looking good. Which is
they are, to be fair. They got a chance of staying up now, haven't they? If they keep playing the way they are.
They're doing really well, which is slightly annoying because if Anguissa was still part of that starting 11, I might have accidentally come on with a game week 29 player that I could actually play, but now he's not even starting. So,
did we get? Oh, Jesus is in. He's just missed.
What are you saying?
I was going to say, did we get the information about Double Game Week 26 yet?
I was waiting all the way up until 6 and nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
So I don't know if something's come out since then. But yeah, until that happens, I don't know what I'm doing yet, which is slightly aggravating. But of course, they're not making up the schedule for us FPL managers. They're not sitting there thinking we need to get it out early so they know if these FPL managers want to play their wild card or not.
Well, they're going to leave it to the last minute, so the people in the assist decision-making team have got all the chance in the world of getting ahead of people, and then they'll release it. Like, oh, you dad's done, made all your transfers? All right, hit the button, release them. Not that I'm better.
Only slightly.
So there's I was going to say who takes the penalties tonight, but I guess Rodri's going to take it again, isn't he?
Well, didn't Pep say Rodri's not for certain on them? He's just the one that wanted to step up that moment or something like that. So
with Sterling captain, I don't even know if I want him to step up. To be
honest, I'm not going to lie. His record,
disaster.
I think Match of the Day showed the records of the Man City players after the game on the weekend, and yeah, Sterling did not impress with his record.
No. He doesn't strike the ball that well, does he?
No, even like, don't be wrong, every now and again he hits a good shot from outside the box. But there's plenty of times where he hits it and you think,
Yeah, he likes those sort of finesse, those open the body and kind of curl them in rather than putting his laces through it. Go on, Mahrez, whip it in, find Sterling.
Find Sterling. Everything's find Sterling. Ignore Jesus, ignore Foden, ignore Bernardo Silva.
Start looking like a FIFA game when you try and find your pro to try and score. And you just start dancing around the keeper being like, just run in the box, run in the box.
Well, Ultimate Team objectives where you have to score with a specific type of player. You get the ball into the final third and you're like, okay, where is he? Where is he? See, all I want is them to pass it back to Cancelo and to Cancelo to shoot from outside the box. Did we go over how you've done so far this game week, Kurt?
I don't think, well, briefly, but 93 points so far. Yeah, couple of good play. Obviously, Sterling as captain. Hopefully, after this game week, will help. Gundogan is a massive bonus. It becomes a necessity now. Fernandes becomes a necessity. Loughton was a really good choice. Just purely, everyone will be surprised to know. Shock horror. I didn't look at any stats. I just thought I don't like centre back, so I'll bring in a fullback. And
fair enough, mate. Fair logic, to be fair.
I think at the end of the day, fullback's going to get, although there's still corners and set plays, fullback's going to get forward more. And I'm pretty sure Loughton used to play for Sheffield United, and I got stick at the time, quite a few years ago, saying that I actually really liked him as a player. One of the only Sheffield United players I think, you know what, he's actually a pretty decent footballer. But obviously, he's not really had first team chance. I think that's when he was playing Villa as well, before they had their bit of a bad period. But then, talking about Claret and Blue, stay with them in terms of defence. I've got Martinez, it was a late. I haven't had him for too many weeks, but he did all right this week. And the man that is the gift that keeps on giving now. West Ham like to score goals from his corners is Aaron Cresswell.
He was played in the back as well. He was a centre back, but still.
Well, he's a back three, but that allows him to sort of drift in a bit like sort of Azpilicueta did. When you look at I can't remember who it was, Sarri or Conte. When you saw one season when Azpilicueta just kept on finding Diego Costa, drifting from that wide centre back role and just drifting, and Cresswell's got a left foot on him. I mean, if West Ham would have scored all the corners that they put in, like all the times they've sort of missed narrowly or chance to hit off the line,
he's already top
bar,
point scorer, isn't he, for defenders? Imagine how many more he could have had.
Yes, it's mental. It is absolutely mental. But another thing that once this tough period's over, although West Ham now are, not that they were fighting relegation from much of this season, but they've got a tough few games ahead: Spurs, Man City, and Man United the next 4. But after that, I'm thinking I'm sticking on Cresswell, but Craig Dawson as well for a transfer in. Since he's come into the team, he's got clean sheets, he's got goals. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's averaging like 5 points a game.
Have you got Dawson?
Which is absolutely insane.
Have you got Dawson, Kurt?
No, I've only got Cresswell, but I'm tempting to double up.
Okay.
Because if Antonio can't stay fit, Antonio goes out. I keep Souček because he's bound to start cheating again and scoring loads of goals. It's not fair, the amount of goals he scores. I think Lanky Czech cheat code West Ham Pips use.
Lanky Czech cheat code.
But yeah, if I do get rid of Antonio because his fitness becomes an issue yet again, because somehow West Ham thought it was a great idea to sell their only backup striker and then not buy another one, Dawson becomes a shout. If not, then Jay Lings. 8 points a game. 8 points a game. The man's going to captain England in the Euros. You heard it here first.
Just glad he's finally realising that potential.
To be fair, it is, as much as we do like to joke about players like him, I suppose at the time for the Ox and Milner and Walcott, when it's sort of like they're always mentioning about the potential and they never really reached it. It's nice to see a player that we spoke about so highly of have such a sort of rough time, get a chance and then start playing good football again.
Well, it just shows sometimes you need to just play at a slightly smaller team where you can be important.
Yeah, you think the amount of egos and the amount of talent in that Man United team, all of a sudden he walks into the West Ham lineup and he's probably the without being offensive, he's the most talented person there. He's
probably walks in doing a dance, and the whole West Ham team are like,
"Oh yeah,
what the hell is that guy
beatboxing, doing his celebration?
What's up with this guy?"
But I mean, he walks in and he's got the flair to beat anyone in that attacking lineup. He walks into the starting 11. In my eyes, you look at Man United, he's not getting anywhere near it at the moment. That's nothing against his talent. It's more how Man United have improved their attacking lineup. But I mean, it's nice to see. I don't think he has a chance of getting into Euros, but if he does, then if there is a spot for him, why not take him if he continues this form?
Look, he's usually done quite well for England, to be fair to him.
Mm. But then I've been told off for dreaming too much of England cricket. Put a 10 quid bet, thinking, you know what, 484 to chase, that'd be a solid 10 quid bet. And then 3 hours later, we're all out. So let's not talk about my nice thinking.
We do have a question from Nuclear Atoms from the tweet sent out earlier. So we'll get to that now, just because I can see him in the chat and I don't want him to have to wait too long because he was here early, of course. But we've got... and it's quite a long one, but it's got options. So, wants to know which FPL manager are you, and do you want to change your ways? So he's given us some categories to try and put ourselves into. You've got the cowardly safe person, the society's risky fool, go template or nothing, lucky son of a, the I don't care I have a life guy, or the mug who's all about stats and numbers, or the obsessed mental freak. I think I'm a couple of those, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't fall into just one.
Seeing as
I know which two most people would put next to my name.
I'm probably quite template, I reckon. Not that I want to be, but I suppose if you can... Is it the Twitter template, or is it the general playing publics template? Because there's certain players that people on Twitter are going to gravitate towards. And those would be the ones that are passing the eye test, have underlying stats, and that everyone's talking about. And we're all going to kind of go towards those players anyway. But I would also think I'm probably the mug who's all about stats.
I was going to say, yeah, you have to be that one, because the amount of times we're like, "Oh, Jay, what do you think?" And it'll be like, "Well, I looked at underlying stats." I'm like, "Oh, for goodness sake, again. Goodness me. What do you think about the player?" "Well, looked at underlying stats." Oh.
Well, the thing is, when I haven't looked at the underlying stats, I've made some absolute stinker of decisions. So, for instance, Bamford was aggravating me when I watched him because he wasn't putting chances away. But if I'd looked at the stats instead of making the transfer out, I'd have seen that he's still high and above most of the strikers in the game, other than the likes of Ollie Watkins and maybe Harry Kane. Callum Wilson at the time had some better numbers. So I feel like if I don't do both, watch the game and look at the underlying stats, sometimes I make some really bad decisions.
The last one for me, I think.
The obsessed mental freak.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all a little obsessed if we make content about it, but
sometimes too much for my own good. I don't want to be that mental freak, but obsessed. But I think about it far too much.
I think we probably all do a little bit.
Yeah. And a bit of the stats. Not so much this season. Last season, I think I maybe went too much into stats and didn't watch enough football, and I think that played a part in me having such a disaster season.
Yeah, which is a fair point.
Yeah, I didn't watch enough. I was just relying on the numbers too much without actually watching the games. I didn't have BT Sport last season either.
Yeah, so that does make an impact, because you can have a look at stats. I mean, you look at anything in football, you can say, so-and-so scored a hat-trick today, but it might have been a tap-in, and pretty much a gift from the keeper.
Yeah.
A fumble. So you think, he's got a hat-trick, it looks good, but it could have been 3 absolute flukes. And
yeah, I think in the first 10 weeks this season, Mitrovic again was highest for the shots, so he was right up there in terms of shots, but he was never really an option, So if you were watching the games, you'd think, bloody hell, I got to sell Mitrovic, but the stats would tell you otherwise. So yeah, it can only tell you so much. You've got to combine the two. You've got to use both stats and the eye test as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find the balance a bit more this season. I think with the whole, the break and everything, I fell out of love a little bit with football last season. I was kind of just over it a little bit, so I didn't watch it as much. But I've watched it a bit because we're all sort of in lockdown now all the time, and it's football on most days. Then I've watched a lot more this season for sure.
Like, I know there was always the discussion about stopping the football again, but not going to lie, I'm very happy there's football.
Oh yeah,
that first lockdown with no football, I was like, there's nothing to look forward to on the weekend. Now there's something to looking forward to pretty much every day. That being said, I do every now and again look at the games on and go, you know what, today I'll give it a miss. But
yeah,
I was sat there earlier, just sitting down waiting for my food, watching Burnley Fulham, and I thought, albeit I own Matt Lowson, but what am I doing watching this? What am I doing watching Burnley Fulham? It was 1-1 at the time, and I don't think there'd been a shot in 15 minutes. I mean, why am I wasting my time?
I think I'd have been watching that going, this is a great game.
No, with that, I think I fall into two, and then probably only two, which is Society's Risky Fool and Lucky Bastards. Because I don't care what ownership is. I'll just transfer a player, and if I like his, the way he plays, or I look at his recent.
I'd say
form.
you're also, I don't care, I've got a life.
But yeah, that also falls into Lucky Bastard, because quite a few times this season I've just forgotten to change my team and it's gone all right. So, not that I have a life.
I had a look at my fan team, which I've forgotten about for quite a while. No luck for me. I've plummeted. I've had Kevin De Bruyne as captain for the last 6 or 7 games.
Have you just forgot to do it?
Yeah. Just with the game week so quick, and I'm so focused on the content and the FPL team.
Yeah.
That.
Isn't it mad though how that one's actually for serious money? Yet you're.
Yeah, I suppose because I suppose less of what I've built is focused on it. That it just doesn't seem to matter as much, even though it is for a significant prize pool.
Yeah.
But,
Everton, Man City have got all the possession, they're dominating possession, but I haven't seen much from them yet, really. Everton look okay.
That's the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, the players they've got are all good players in their own right. Sterling, Jesus, Mahrez, Foden, Bernardo Silva. But none of those strike me as central midfielders. And at least, although Ilkay's been getting into the right places at the right time, him and Rodri just seem like the spine of the team for the rest to play around. Without Ilkay there, and just Rodri, part of me was thinking maybe Cancelo might play as a CDM or something, or a centre mid. But looks like is he playing left back? It looked like from the lineup that he's probably playing left back. Nuclear wants to know if we would change the way we are.
No,
I would, yeah. Like I said before, I need to find a bit more. Not Foden goal.
That's what you're changing? Like, more Foden goals. Foden in my side, please.
It's not. I don't think it's a Sterling assist for sure. Anyway, so
no.
If they give that to Sterling,
no, it's nowhere near Sterling. I don't.
You watch. They go around the room. FPL Towers. 3 out of 4 of us have a Sterling captain. Yeah, assist.
So it's Mahrez, and then he whips the ball in. Defender clears. It won't be an assist, I don't think. I think it comes off the defender last.
It depends. They've got to interview Mahrez afterwards. Who are you tending to find? Phil Foden. Yeah. Oh, in that case, I'll give you the assist then, mate.
In that case, realise. Terrible pass.
It's going to be it's a big deflection as well.
Big deflection too, yeah.
So it'll be a Foden goal, no assist, I think. But yeah, for Nuclear, I would definitely like to change a bit because I obsess over it too much. To the point where it affects mental health, that kind of thing. So I'd like to not. And I think maybe sometimes you try too hard. Then if you're overthinking.
I've definitely been someone that's tried too hard at certain points.
Yeah.
Like I think the end of last season, I just was trying too hard to find differentials, and the differentials just weren't working. Meanwhile, people just had Sterling or had the right players and just ran away from them.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I still back my decision not to get Gundogan because I was thinking, this is maybe this is like a freak purple patch. This can't go on. This is Gundogan. He's not typically a goal scorer. So I don't regret my decision, but I think part of not getting him was perhaps overthinking because the stats were there, the performances were there. It was 5.5 million for a Man City player with double game weeks. It's such a cheap way to get into the team. And then I look at my mini leagues this week, and I'm in mini leagues with just some mates that hardly watch football, and they've all got Gundogan and they've all captained him, and there's me with not even with him, and it's like they're not even watching football, they're not thinking about it. So the fact that I haven't got him, is that a case of overthinking? Did I try and be too clever going for Sterling instead for double the price? I think that's a 50-50 that hasn't gone well the last few weeks.
See, I suppose I have a slight bias against Sterling. I don't know what it is, but I don't rate his finishing, despite the fact that he's had some seasons where he's proven he can be a good goal scorer. So
one season he was phenomenal, wasn't he? That one season he was just everyone had him in their team.
When KDB was out, I think even in videos I was like, oh, I'd like Sterling. I think Sterling's a shout here. But then when it actually comes to making the move, I'd be like, I don't want to spend that on Sterling. So when Ilkay started hitting some form, I was just like, you know what, that would do until KDB's back. Yeah. Then I started watching him a bit more because I'd put him in the side, and I was like, you know what, he's getting in the right positions.
Yeah.
And I still almost brought in Sterling for this game week as well, but it would have been at the expense of Stones, which
and then
we might see.
Sterling as well.
Yeah, I may have captained Sterling. We'll see what happens in this game, but I think I've done all right out of it. But you never know. Famous last words. As far as changing for me, I don't think I'd change it because it was kind of my obsession that has brought me down the path that I've gone down. It's kind of like my obsession with stats that has also brought me down the path I've gone down, so I don't think I'd change anything.
Sterling, where are you, man? So wide.
With any luck, the goal is a better thing for the game in general because it means Everton can't see out a 0-0 and try and get a point. They've got to try and move men forward, which will allow for counter-attacks.
Yeah. Almost an assist for Cancelo there. Good ball in. I think it was Foden or Jesus who were trying to get on the end of it with a header.
Foden at the end of it.
Yeah, Cancelo always looks dangerous, doesn't he? If you don't have him, it's like, oh, he's much more fun to own than Diaz or Stones, who I've got. But then you do worry about the rotation a little bit. But he looks to play most games now, doesn't he, Cancelo?
Wasn't he signed in a swap deal with Danilo as well?
Yeah, I believe he was, yeah.
What
was like
sort
Danilo
of...
plus 24 million or something.
I can't help but think at the time that Juventus have been absolutely mugged off there. Yeah, do you want a Danilo? Yeah.
Maybe it's just the type of player that suits each league. Maybe Cancelo's slightly more suited to the Premier League. Dino's slightly more suited to Serie A.
Chance for Everton. Digne, goal. They've scored.
You are definitely way ahead of me. Richarlison, the punt.
Yeah. Looks like a Digne assist.
Oh, no, not a Digne assist. Okay. So, Digne shot, it hit the post, and then Richarlison scored by hitting him by the looks of it.
Hold on, let me have a look to see if this is an assist-worthy moment.
I don't know, what's his intended target, Richarlison?
Yeah, no touch off Richarlison, hits off the post. Richarlison gets the goal. So how many of that assist-mugging team has Digne in their teams?
I reckon
how
they'll
many
give
of them
this...
has Digne starting? We're like, oh, sod it, we've all got Digne on the bench, lads. Don't give it
isn't it? If it's a shot on target and the keeper saves and then a rebound scored, it's an assist.
Why, though?
I don't know. That's the question you need to ask someone else other than me. But if that's the case, surely I'd imagine hitting the post and then someone scores is also an assist. So I think they'll give it to him. Especially as Digne's probably quite, I don't know, a highly transferred in player for this game week, probably.
That's a clean sheet point gone for my captain as well. They all count. 2 points.
Yeah,
dropped.
that's clean sheet point gone for Sterling. That's clean sheet gone for Diaz. So all of a sudden, that Alonso benching looks like a horrible choice.
Stones doesn't lose his clean sheet, so I'm all right.
Hold on, I've got something for you, Jay.
Thank you.
There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome.
So that's, unless Cancelo scores or gets an assist, that's pretty much me done for points. Unless Stones comes on and repeats the magic of, was it game week 19?
When he scored 13 goals and had a clean sheet.
So we had a question from Mig here as well in the chat. He said, when was the last time you watched a game without it being a scouting session for FPL?
I'll skip this all the time.
Last night, actually, I watched Cardiff play.
I was going to say I watch AFC Wimbledon play.
Yeah, Cardiff played Luton yesterday, and they won 2-0. Good performance, actually. Won a great game in the first half, but yeah, Cardiff have Mick McCarthy's taken over because Cardiff were just in awful form. And since Big Mick's come in, they haven't lost in like 6 games now. They've won 3, drawn 3, I think, or something like that, or won 4, drawn 2. Now they're shooting up the table. So yeah, it's really good.
Mick McCarthy. Had a nice 2-month holiday on in Cyprus before getting that job. Got paid for it as well somehow.
Yeah, that was strange.
Must have been essential.
Oh, he was managing a team apparently.
Wow.
Didn't do very well of it. He got sacked.
Mig, I expect better of you. Can you class Wimbledon as football though? We used to share a ground with you.
No,
we used to be higher than you while sharing that ground with you in the league. Then we happened to move to Milton Keynes because we were owned by some censored word.
Nim goes away for 1 week and Jay lays down expletive after expletive about MK Dons.
Well, that's it. She's the one that keeps not turning up and then leaving us to our own devices. By the way, anyone that is concerned, while we blame our behaviour on Nim not being here, Nim's feeling a bit unwell, unfortunately, so she couldn't join us today, but hopefully she will be joining us for the next stream.
What Jay meant to say is that Nim transferred out Gundogan at the last minute.
She didn't. She captained him as well.
She was that distraught about missing out on the points that she thought, I'm just going to be honest, this week.
She's had the type of game where I think she'd have loved to have come on and talked about it, if memory serves me correctly.
Let's start off everyone's teams. I'll go to myself first. Well, I did fantastically, thanks for asking.
I think the only downside would be is I've got more points than her, so she couldn't have been the highest scorer, but I'm pretty confident she's around the 100 mark.
Nice.
Let me check. So she's 94. Ilkay is captain. She has Digne, so that's good for her.
Is it? Has he been given the assist?
Okay, so Live FPL have given him the assist. Has Sanchez on the bench, but the one regret I have is I thought, you know what? Areola, 2 games, not against prolific goal-scoring sides. I'll take the risk of playing him instead of Martinez. Areola gets 8 points, Martinez gets 12.
Oh, not a huge swing, though. Not a huge swing.
I was close to playing bench boost,
too much about that.
which I'm kind of mixed feelings about not playing bench boost because I would have got the 12 points.
And who else?
But then I have DCL who gets nothing. Okay. I've got Antonio who gets nothing. And I've got Anguissa who gets 1 point for coming off the bench. So while the 12 points would be nice, it's 13 point isn't really what you play bench boost for. But I would then be able to play the wildcard not putting any funds onto the bench, which is why I had considered it. Because I know if I play the wildcard before the bench boost, I'm going to use more funds on the bench, which, to be honest, this season probably isn't too bad an issue, because plenty of times you've needed your bench, but there's also been plenty of times where people have, some of the screenshots I've seen on Twitter of benches that would have been perfect for a bench boost. They've been crazy this season. I've really lost my interest in this game, I'm not going to lie. Without the captain, without a defender, I've got one defender, but without both defenders. I'd have really liked DCL in this game. He might have been where Richarlison was for that Digne assist. Did Martinez outscore Pope? I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Let me find something there, Pope. Pope got 10 points, Martinez got 12.
We had someone weighing up a -4 for Pope, didn't we, for Martinez to bench Martinez and play Pope for a -4 last week.
The thing is, don't get me wrong, Martinez was always capable of getting a clean sheet. And it's those saves. If he gets a game where he can get those saves in, then there was always a likelihood of a decent score. And then a goalkeeper, unless they have a similar sort of game, needs to get the 2 clean sheets. So, yeah. Unless you've got Edison, because didn't he get an assist on the clean sheet? Yeah. I think that's the only person you could have got that outscored Martinez, most likely.
A lot of the plays coming down this right-hand side with Mahrez Sterling's not in this game at the moment. He's not in the box now either. He's wide outside.
That's the thing about Sterling, when he's that far out wide, you have games where he always seems involved, and you have games where
he's never involved.
Yeah. It's hit or miss with him. Whereas at least with the likes of Foden or Mahrez, you feel like they do come inside quite often if they are playing out wide.
Mahrez loves to shoot, doesn't he? So he's got that in him, yeah. To cut in on his left.
And that's another reason I went Ilkay instead of Sterling, because I was like, how nailed on is Sterling? I don't feel like he's as nailed on as he used to be. Although KDB on the bench, bit concerning for an Ilkay owner.
I think you're okay, mate. He's in the form of his life, isn't he? Providing he's fit. I don't know what the fitness update is with Ilkay.
It seems to be that it's not serious, so he should be back soon.
Yeah, I was going to probably bring him in this week, but it's tricky now if he's got this injury.
So Pep said he'll either be back this weekend or it'll be in the Champions League. He said he'll be back for one of them. But, I'd rather he said he will be back this weekend. That would have filled me with a lot more confidence.
Yeah.
I just worry that Ilkay won't run into the same positions when KDB's back. And it's possible he still does, because KDB can find assists from deeper. But we'll see. I don't want to get rid of him before I've seen him play in the same side as KDB. Did I miss something that Richarlison did? Because Glenn's just said I hate owning players like Richarlison. He's got a temper like Zaha.
Whenever something doesn't go his way, for example, if he kicks the ball out, for example, if he missed a penalty and it went for a goal kick, he would be adamant that it was a corner.
He had a bit of a tantrum about 5 minutes ago because he had a bit of a coming together with Laporte, I think it was. And as Laporte came down, his legs kind of took Richarlison out. Yeah, and it looked like Richarlison wasn't too happy with it, but that's all I can remember.
One of the players that's always fouled, always hard done by. So we'll complain about everything until one of the captains or the ref says, look, you're on a yellow card, do it anymore and you're off.
Cool. So we've got Ray in the waiting room, so I'm just going to pop to the Be Right Back screen, and then we'll be back hopefully very shortly with Ray, and he can talk about how his game has gone. Okay, guys, welcome back, and welcome to Ray, who has joined us at half-time for hopefully what will be a thrilling second half for at least one of us, with some points from one of the players we've got in this game. But before we get back into the game, because it's still half-time, Ray, why don't you just talk us through how your game week has been going so far?
Yeah, pretty good. Hi, guys, by the way. Good evening, everyone. Currently, I'm on 93 points. But I'm going to get Target coming off the bench because Antonio was injured. So start of this game, the Man City-Everton game, I'm on 99 points and currently have Diaz playing. So, yeah, pretty happy with it. I think it will be my first 100 pointer this season where I haven't bench boost, because when I bench boost, I think I got about 137 or something like that. So, yeah, pretty happy. If all goes to plan, I'll finally be in that 100k club by like 1 point. But, you know. Lovely. Every point counts. But start this game, all I was thinking is I just hope Diaz plays, because if he didn't play, I was all set for Dallas to come on as my third sub, because DCL's injured for me, Antonio's injured, Martinez is sub, but I think playing Areola was the right call for me. You know, these things just happen. Who would have thought Martinez makes 9 saves, gets a clean sheet and max bonus? I mean, it's a freak for me.
I mean, have you been watching him this season?
Yeah, but that's insane. I mean,
I literally was sitting there before the deadline thinking, do I play Areola? And I was thinking, but it's Martinez. I was so close to going Martinez, and then thought, it's a double game week. You have to go double game week player.
I think he's a unicorn this season, isn't he? Like, he's just unbelievable this season.
It's funny how he often does it when it could be really helpful. Like, either you're having a really good game week and he just pushes it over the top, or you're having a stinker, and then he literally comes to the rescue. Because when I haven't needed him at all, he seems to do nothing. Apart from this game week, I could have... I mean, I'm on 103, so I'm supposing I'm being a bit greedy. But I would have liked this 12 points on top.
Well, you would have liked the 4 points on top.
4 points on top, true. Well, if I played bench boost, I could have had the 12 as well, but then I've had nothing else from anyone else.
You know what? Every single week, I think you can play a bench boost, isn't it? I have seen some killer scores. I think the best one I've seen is like 42 points off the bench. So he got more points on his bench, or her, than he did on his team.
The thing is, I'm pretty confident that I'll play my bench boost, and I probably won't match Martinez's points from this game week. Knowing my luck, that's how it will work.
So yeah, solid. I mean, captain in Gundogan, obviously. I mean, you guys probably got bored of me like shouting about it, but I put my money where my mouth is. I was actually very tempted to triple captain him.
I was
legit. I was tempted, but I think with game week 26, maybe having some absolute bangers, I'll probably save it for them.
Which we're still waiting for. I think.
Oh, the fixtures haven't been announced yet?
I still think they haven't been announced yet. I was waiting until about 6, and then I thought, okay, I've got to put my kids to bed. I've got to get the stream ready. So
they kind of have inadvertently, for Man City at least. So I just had a quick look on Ben Krellin's Twitter, and apparently Pep, during the interview at the start of the game, hinted at Man City having double game weeks, basically, not in those words. But I'm just finding it now.
Well, I think it was always...
We have many games coming up.
It was always very likely that Man City had a double in 26. Like, extremely likely.
And 27.
And, yeah.
So they've got Wolves in double game at 26 now. That's getting moved to 26. And then their game against Southampton's getting moved to 27. That's basically what Pep has said. So that would give Man City, Wolves and West Ham in 26. And then Man United, Southampton in 27. So back-to-back double game weeks for Man City.
It has to be rotation.
I might have to go double attack. I'll have to go double attack because I don't know.
Fancy quite a bit of rotation there, though, surely.
Of course, but swings and roundabouts.
Which we're already getting this game week.
It's hard to go into it without two.
But that's the thing. The players at the moment have the capability of just in one of those game weeks of getting one of those games in a game week getting a good score. Like, for instance, if nothing drastic happens in this game, I'm still going to be over the moon with Ilkay as captain. even though he only played 90 minutes.
Yeah, 19-pointer.
But he didn't even play 90 minutes, did he? But at the moment, there's certain players in that City side that you put money on in 60 minutes getting something for you.
Well, it's interesting, really, because, beginning of the season, you're always thinking, well, Raheem Sterling is pretty much a certain star every single game, isn't it? But this season, he's gone through, periods of not starting at all. So it legit feels like a roulette now. And even Diaz, Diaz didn't start the other day, but okay, he was coming back from sickness. But apart from Edison, who else is certain to have their position in the lineup?
I feel like Ilkay would have played in this game if he hadn't picked up that knock.
But I mean, going forward with all these doubles.
Well, with all these doubles now, I don't think there is one. It's Edison. That's it. Because KDB's only just coming back from injury. He's on the bench today, but I'd imagine he's going to get rotated. Aguero is on the bench. So I'm sure Nim will be sitting there looking at her team going, do I bring in Aguero? But
surely Aguero can't be considered a serious option.
The way they've been playing without a striker when Ilkay's on the pitch, I'd imagine... Well, sorry, Jesus is a striker. Just he doesn't score regularly. He kind of has bursts. But, yeah, I can't imagine Aguero being nailed on the way City have been playing recently.
He hasn't been a guaranteed starter for the past 4
seasons. Well, he's been
seasons.
injured a lot in those 4 seasons.
Exactly, that's the point. You can't trust him. For the price he's at, I wouldn't be comfortable bringing him in for the rest of the season. Because, eventually he's going to, A, be rotated because of Champions League and the Cups, and B, he's probably going to break himself again and be injured.
I'd only free hit him, if you know what I mean. I'll free hit him for like one random double game week. And then
it'd be a punt,
let's say if there's
he's a punt.
Jesus had played, let's say, the weekend before and played 90 minutes in the Champions League, and they're at home to see, someone like, I don't know, West Brom. You're thinking, yeah, Aguero's going to guarantee to start here, and he's going to absolutely
annihilate them. And Pep comes out and says, I'm starting Aguero in this game. Even then, you
Jesus
still wouldn't
will be
sure.
rested for the second leg, and Aguero will be playing. Then you bring him in. But apart from that, no. I still don't know.
That's why I've got such a headache over Salah now. Because Salah seems pretty nailed on. And he's scored, even though they did terribly against Leicester after they scored. But he still scored. It was a good goal. Scored in the Champions League. And I've gone from thinking I don't need Salah to thinking, well, he's got a double game week probably coming up. Can I really risk not having Salah?
I might triple captain him in 26.
I'm not sure I have the confidence in Liverpool.
My plan was that I got 2 free transfers, and I was going to take out DCL for Ings for just the 1 week, double game week. But Southampton could have multiple double game weeks coming up now, and he still looks like a fantastic differential. My idea originally was Ings for this double game week, take him out, bring in Kane, triple captain Kane. But Tottenham aren't really impressing me, like offensively, while Liverpool, Salah still looks a threat, even though Liverpool aren't like kind of hitting from all angles right now. And with Sheffield United away, Liverpool will certainly create opportunities. And with Chelsea at home, now, my big scout this weekend is Southampton versus Chelsea. I want to see how Chelsea play when they're up against a really offensive team. And, Southampton are going to come after them to really then, have an idea of, do I feel Chelsea are possibly vulnerable against, proper attacking teams? So, and also the guy's never let me down, so I'm a bit shocked when people think about taking him out, because even when Liverpool look trash, the man still returns. What is he? He's still top scorer in the league. For me, you make space for him and Bruno.
I suppose it's just one of those things that when he doesn't score points and Liverpool have looked bad, it just kind of probably compounds it a bit. That
like a ripple effect, yeah.
Yeah. That you're like, okay, he didn't look dangerous in this game, and neither did Liverpool as a whole. So are they going to create chances for him? And watching the Leipzig game, to be fair, the 2 goals they scored were from mistakes that Leipzig made. Now, don't get me wrong, they did create chances still. Firmino looked pretty poor in that game to me, just like his final ball, when it's usually quite good. Just he seemed to hit his passes just a bit too short every single time. But overall, the performance looked decent. But I always worry that sometimes teams can do well in Europe against teams in Europe because maybe they've not done as much scouting, maybe not aware that Liverpool are weak at the moment, whatever reason it is. And then in the Premier League, they don't do as well as they do in Europe, or vice versa sometimes. But yeah, I don't think I can get rid of Salah now off the back of these two performances. Mm-hmm. For me, it's probably now Grealish, but the problem is he's going to have a game in Game Week 29.
The thing is, Grealish is not as much of a talisman now, isn't it?
That's the issue I have.
They got Traore. I mean, it's probably more. So I've got double Villa defense in Martinez and Target. I think I want to keep it that way, man. I really do, because I'm not planning on taking out Bamford. And Danny Ings, I will bring him in, and then it's more of a scouting. Do I keep him afterwards? How will he perform? The normal mishmash of eye test versus stats. So, yeah, I think Grealish is possibly someone you can,
Well, it's the likes of Rafinha and Souček.
Rafinha, you took out me, yeah.
Yeah. There's players there for slightly cheaper that are returning just as well, if not better. So, yeah, to be honest, until these fixtures get announced, I really don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm getting a Leeds player in, probably this game week, probably Rafinha, and then that's it.
Do you have Bamford or Dallas already?
I have Bamford.
Okay.
I sold Bamford and Dallas in the same game week before they both scored attacking points, and Dallas got a clean sheet. So, yeah. I sold him at the exact right time.
If you didn't have Dallas, would you bring him in this week?
It's definitely possible that I bring him in this week, still, because of the double.
Oh, have you got him?
I haven't got him.
Oh, same.
So okay. I might take a -4 and bring in Rafinha and Dallas.
Okay.
The issue I have with that is they don't have double game weeks after.
Yeah.
But the plus side is they
29.
do, they play in blank game at 29, which is a plus. So I'm of two minds. It's either play the wild card to try and make the most of these doubles, or try and make the most of the doubles without using the wild card, have enough players for blank game week 29, and then wild card in game week 30. Because the issue I have with trying to make the most of these double game weeks is they're so much earlier than usual. And usually they're 34 and 37, these double game weeks. So you're only really playing your wild card with a lot of value on your bench for, say, 4 or 5 game weeks. Whereas this time you're playing it for a lot longer of the season. And I'm worried that if I corner myself into a double game week side, I'm then going to spend ages trying to get that back to a side I'm happy with for the rest of the season. So I'm of two minds. I suppose it really matters what these double game weeks look like overall. But the idea of bringing in Rafinha and Dallas doesn't bother me because it means I don't have to rush into a wild card. And it does mean I maybe don't have as many double game week players as I'd like, but Martinez has proven that sometimes a single game week player can do just as well as some of the two games.
Yeah, I think we get distracted with the double game week sometimes, don't we? Rather than those quality single game weekers. After Gundogan captain, I actually really thought about Bruno. I think I mentioned it maybe to Brett last week. That Bruno was kind of like my second, and the goal he scored was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I'm considering Bruno for this one. I know I will go Bamford. I will probably captain Bamford.
Yeah. I think,
but there's still part of me going, Bruno's capable of getting a score big enough against West Brom.
Against Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Brett, do you just have the one transfer going into 25, or do you?
Two. I've got two.
What are your thoughts? Have you kind of thought about what you're doing?
My plan was Kufal out, Dallas in, nice simple transfer, and save the other. I was happy with just the two Leeds players.
Do you have a Southampton or not right now?
No, I don't have a Southampton. This was before Gundogan smashed in a 19-pointer, and I don't have him. So I was like, do I need to get Gundogan in now? And obviously then he got injured. So I was either going to do Kufal to Dallas. That was the easy move. And then once Gundogan hit 19 points, I was thinking, do I switch John Stones to Dallas, free up the third Man City spot, and then go Souček to Gundogan to cover him, because I'm just fed up of Gundogan punishing me now, and everyone's got him in my mini leagues. So yeah, it depends on the fitness of Gundogan, I suppose. I don't like to chase points, but it's like, Gundogan just keeps hitting braces. It's just doing my head in. And when you haven't even got him, it's just like everyone captained him this week. And it's like, really? Everyone's got Gundogan captain. Wow, I haven't got him in my team.
I wasn't expecting
Absolute
so many
disaster.
people to captain him, to be fair. Or at least so many people that are in mini leagues that I'm part of.
Also, the effective ownership of Gundogan being captain in the top 200k was quite high.
Exactly, and that was where I was ranked. So I've just free fallen, So I don't like to chase points, but like if I don't go with him and he keeps doing this, what can I do? So I'm a bit torn whether to get him or not now.
But with KDB back, that might be the equalizer, isn't it? Will Gundogan continue being that? Saying that, he was actually that player while KDB was playing, wasn't he?
It's hard to say, mate.
But I don't know if he'll be back against Arsenal because it was a groin strain.
Yeah.
So Pep said he could be back this weekend, but he said he said he will be back for that or the Champions League. So knowing Pep, I'm imagining he'll be back for the Champions League game.
Yeah, I might just try and go without him this week. I've already got the 3 Man City players, so Arsenal have been doing okay. Against Man City, it's a different beast. Like they'll probably get hammered by Man City. They normally do.
All the time.
But I don't know. Maybe I can try and go without him for this week and then reassess, But I think longer term, I'll probably want 2 City attackers and 1 defender. Then again, I don't really want Sterling long term. It's just because City have got so many doubles. I think, is there a point in transferring out Sterling now? I might as well keep him for the next couple of game weeks and hope for the best.
I think he's due a haul as well, isn't he? But I say that a lot though.
Yeah.
You can say that about anyone that hasn't scored.
I said that. You know what?
You know that steer,
Bukayo Saka is due a haul. I think Foden and Gundogan looks like good players moving forward because if one isn't going to play, the other one's going to play. That's how I look at it. And with Man City assets, to be honest with you, I don't expect all 3 of them to play. I think to myself, if 2 out of the 3 of them play that I have, I'm pretty happy, isn't it? Because unless you have Edison, no one else is really set. So yeah. What about you, Kurt, man? Into 25, do you have 2 free as well, or just 1?
2 free transfers.
Yeah.
I think I've got 1. I think I used about 1 billion transfers this week. Yeah, I've got 1. Again, you have to teach me. Where do I look at transfers?
You click on transfers.
Like transfer history, sorry.
Oh, okay. That should be in game week history again, the same place as
so I did have 2 banked, but game week 23 I brought.
Yeah, so scroll down to your points page, and then you'll see transfers in finance, and then view transfer history.
Yeah, I've just seen that. Okay. So 23, I had 2 in the bank, but I got rid of Smith Rowe and Holding for Gundogan and Alonso, and then this game week I got rid of Dyer for Loughton, so I've got 1. I don't know what I'm going to do this week. My team looks okay. It doesn't look anything too good, but the problem is that I've got so many players that I don't want to get rid of. So I'm looking across midfield thinking, Rafinha for the double game week, that'd be brilliant. I'm thinking Sterling. Can't get rid of Sterling because, let's be honest, as good as Arsenal are, they're still fragile at the back. Fernandes is an absolute no-go. Son is due a big haul, and both him and Kane are fit. Gundogan, again, you never know. And Souček, again, you never know. They're sort of the players for the season rather than just the week. So, if anything, I'd be tempted to sort of risk a free hit this week. But that'd be it. No real sort of risky manoeuvres.
Big chance gone for Jesus.
Yeah, just seen it. And Pep has lost his shit a little bit.
Sterling was nowhere to be seen.
Is Sterling still playing? I thought he got subbed off.
Kurt, did you keep Kane?
Yeah, still got Kane.
Oh, are you potentially looking at that triple captain in 26 if they have the double?
Yeah, I did see Nuclear's question about a double in 26, but me being as an FPL fanatic that knows everything about the game, I have no idea what the doubles are. because they aren't on the website. So I don't know who would be in Double Game Week 26. So I couldn't tell you.
So it could, from memory, it could be quite tasty. I don't know, I've forgotten who they got in 26, but didn't they have a game against Fulham postponed?
Yeah, I've got it here, mate. If it's a potential double is on 26 is West Ham. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about Tottenham. Sorry, Burnley at home and either Fulham away or Southampton at home.
For Spurs?
Double game week.
Yeah, for Spurs.
So definitely Burnley and either Fulham away or Southampton away.
Because Spurs, Aston Villa's probably going to be put in 29.
Yeah.
So they also have the blank game week. So I'm really looking at Kane, because I think that Spurs side with Kane is worth looking at. Yeah, and I think without Kane, as soon as Kane was gone, I wasn't interested in Son. And don't get me wrong, now Kane's back, I'm interested in Son, but just Kane seems the one that could pull something out of a game, even if the rest of the team aren't looking that great.
So I have Son at the moment, and if I don't bring in Kane, and I thought, you know what, guys, I might triple captain Son for 26. Do you think I'm completely off my head, or because I see a lot of triple captain in Kane, but why not Son? Because he'd be the recipient of those.
Yeah, as long as Kane is playing, I'm quite happy for anyone to triple captain Son.
Son has 13 goals and 6 assists. It's not as if he's got no goals, no assists this season. He's a player that's been in.
And we know how explosive he can be. There's been plenty of times in a game week where game week's gone that he's done really well in a game week, and you've been very happy triple captaining. So yeah.
At the moment, a fixture against Southampton I really like.
Yeah, we know how Southampton defend. If they defend like they did in the first game against Spurs, I'm sure I'd hope they're not that naive to do it again. But
yeah, that was my initial plan, because I was going to use one free transfer this week, Kufal to Dallas, and then carry the other. So 2 free transfers then for 26. Downgrade Rashford. He plays Newcastle this week, so I'll keep him for that one. And get rid of Rashford finally, downgrade him, and then upgrade Antonio to Kane with 2 free transfers. That was the kind of the plan I'd set out, but this Gundogan thing has put a bit of a spanner.
So what you're hoping is Pep comes out and says, "Oh yeah, Ilkay's out for like 5-6 game weeks."
I don't like to wish injury on any player, but that would be a big
save you a headache.
A big help for my
If you want a longer rest, EK, no problem. Love Brett.
I saw a load of memes of saying like Pep was speaking to Ilkay saying, FPL Twitter's watching, just say you need a couple of game weeks off. And then he does an interview and just says, yeah, I'm fine, it's up to the gaffer.
Oh, Sterling here? Oh, no. Pickford's there. Oh, whoever's... Is it Pickford in goal this time, or have they got the...
I think it's Pickford in goal.
It's Pickford, yeah. Oh, T-Rex hands.
Scenes if Sterling does score.
I know, yeah.
Brett's on the edge of his seat.
He's a lot more smiley usually, so yeah, just watching Brett.
I know he's not going to score.
Well, that's what I did with... Who did I do that with over the weekend? Oh, when Leicester-Liverpool was still 0-0 at a certain point. I was like, great, I finally transfer out Robertson, he's going to keep a clean sheet. And I only tweeted it thinking, please. Like, when someone tweets something, they're usually proven wrong pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Then Salah scored, and I was like, oh, okay, I mean, I'll take the Salah points, but... And then suddenly, 3-1 later, I was like, hey.
Thing is, I know what Brett's talking about, and normally when you're looking at either a result going your way, whether it's just you want a team to win, you support them, or you've got a bet on, or you've got a player in your FPL team, generally you can sense very quickly if it's going to be their night or the team's night or not, and... Very early on, this looks as if it's going to be a Sterling, maybe Man City win, but Sterling looks as if he is quite often looking at, depending on who's left back for Pep. They've either got Mendy, who will sit, or a left back who will sit out wide, but Cancelo, being a right-footed player, comes in, and Sterling is literally just camped out on the left-hand side. The ball goes out to him. He, shimmy here, shimmy there, pass back in, and that's been his game so far.
Sorry guys, I'm on like 61 now.
Oh really?
So, yeah, people are
you're just ahead of
me.
I thought I was the furthest ahead, so now I'm not.
I'm clearly the furthest behind.
Oh man, Rodri.
Then again, I am the one streaming as well. So.
How is it? We are with us four streaming exactly the same game for exactly the same place, and we're all at exactly different points.
Have you seen they've brought out that new thing where you can watch games with your friends, or it's some sort of app or something, where as long as one of you has the right, I forgot what it's even called, the app, but as long as one of you has the rights to watch the game through BT or Sky, you can invite two mates to watch it with you. But I'm thinking, would it be the same as us right now? Just all being at different moments in the game?
You get what a goal! Be like, currently on the attack. So what happened here? They cross it in. Oh, what a finish! Who'd have guessed it?
I'll be there in 2 minutes, guys.
That's probably because I don't get my TV very often. I'm always watching the stream.
Are you watching with the crowd noise or without?
I think with the crowd noise.
We'll have it muted, but I usually watch games with the crowd noise.
Is it a choice on Amazon?
Stream look. Yeah, you get a choice, and they could be two separate streams, and therefore you're a bit further ahead on the no crowd. So I'm trying to figure out how to go to the no crowd.
See, I don't have Stadium FX on.
I'll check.
But I'm also streaming to YouTube, so I'm assuming that's why I keep ending up behind.
To see if there's a.
I have the crowd noise, Brett. I'm streaming from my iPhone 12.
Oh, you have the crowd noise.
Yeah,
because with Amazon Prime, I didn't think there's a way to do it.
Yeah, there is.
There's an option on Prime. Yeah,
where you can just pick like commentary or with.
You're quite right. It is a different channel. Oh, what a!
So I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened.
We're all here like.
Oh, it's no, it's not.
It's Silva. It's Bernardo Silva. That's fine by me.
The world number one's got Bernardo Silva, hasn't he?
Mahrez, man, it's Mahrez, guys.
Mahrez goal.
Mahrez.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva assist.
Okay.
The world number one's got him.
Oh well, that means I'm not catching him.
I was about to say I'm only 276 points. What a finish! My goodness.
Well, that's the thing you get with Mahrez is he can do that. Whereas, like,
he's class.
I always look at, say, Sterling and think, is he going to do that today?
But Sterling's not, like I said, with the fullback, Sterling's generally not allowed to do that because Cancelo, being right-footed, will chop in a bit. Sterling has to sit out wide, whereas Walker will constantly sort of be drifting out wide because he's right-footed on the right-hand side, so that allows Mahrez to come in because a gap for him then.
Precisely.
Makes the fullback wider, whereas Sterling is aiming to keep the fullback out wide.
Yeah, because no one's keeping the width on the left, isn't it? Because you have two right footers. If you had Mendy or Zinchenko there, then he's got the overlapping runs. But you're quite right. Sterling.
Surely that's not a goal though for Mahrez. That's an assist because he hit the post.
Don't start.
I'm going to be motionless.
No goal. Mahrez assist.
It begs belief for me when you look at Mahrez, who is known for cutting in on his left foot and then whipping the ball to the far post to score a goal. No one's bothered to try and mark him there. They've watched him run on thinking, it's all right, he won't score.
You'd think every defender in the Premier League, when they saw Mahrez cut in on his left, would do everything to throw himself in front of that ball. Then if he cuts back to his right, you're like, okay, fair play, he's cut back to his right. But it's nowhere near as dangerous as his left. You'd take it. But yeah, you're right. You'd think as soon as he cuts in on his left, you'd be trying to close that down as quickly as possible.
Begs belief, really, but...
I see that Ray is having a chat with Nuclear about defenders, which I think we can discuss.
Yeah, so I think going up one from him was any good defenders for the double in 26 price from 5 million under. So the 5 he has is Soufal, Diaz, Cancelo, Ben-Mee, Rudiger. And I said Dallas because I'm saying play the game week, you know what I mean? Don't plan too far ahead, you know. Dallas has
even if you're planning far ahead, Dallas has that blank. So if you're not wildcarding, Dallas is still a good transfer because he has one double, but then you're guaranteed to not have the issue of him, at least, unless he gets injured, of blanking in 29. So I want to at least, the bare minimum I want is, no matter how I attack these double game weeks, is my bench will be full of players that play in game week 29. So if I use my wildcard this game week, my bench would be blank game week players. And then my wildcard would be for game week 25, 26, 27, whatever. And then I'd use the transfers to bring in players for Game Week 29 if I had no wildcard to use, say, if I was using it later. So I see no problem with having Dallas because you could bench him if you have double game week players, and he's still got single game weeks where he could do well, and then he plays in that blank.
And he's
Now,
just
if you
nice
have
to
your
have on
free
the bench,
hit,
isn't he? He's nice to just have on the bench anyway.
You never know what he's going to actually pull out of his bag of tricks. Because he is a player that can, one, he can be playing out of position. Two, we can see that he does get forward, take shots on goal.
Sterling just got booked.
Yeah, he did.
So I see, I may not bring him in purely because I just feel like if I don't bring in Rafinha and he does well this game week, I'm going to be annoyed at myself. So it's whether I take the -4 for Dallas as well, which is possible if I'm not using my wildcard.
Yeah, so, I mean, sticking to the question, he's thinking of taking out Soufal, understandably, because, you know, West Ham's fixture turn is pretty brutal for the next month or so. So he said he takes out Soufal, who should he bring in? I'm saying Dallas.
Yeah.
And I think, and then just act from there. Because
what's the issue? What's the situation with Ben Mee though? Is he going to be back soon?
Yeah, he should be back by the weekend because by then he would have done the 6 days.
Okay.
And Burnley have West Brom, don't they? Yeah.
But I mean, then they have Tottenham, Arsenal, Everton, blank, Southampton.
Well, that's why I have Loughton, isn't it? Because I only got him for like 4.3 about a month ago, knowing I want to play him in these fixtures and then just, you know, keep him on the bench. And probably take him out in the wild card as well, because I'll probably play my wild card 30. For someone else to think about, and Nuclear mentioned it, is Dunk, who's just been, well, I mean, Brighton have been absolutely phenomenal, haven't they? They've got like 4 or 5 clean sheets out of the last 7.
Yeah, gone really under the radar with it as well. I mean, they just don't excite me.
If Burnley hadn't been given that late double game week out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, but it got announced quite late, didn't it? And I was looking at Dunk at that point, but then Burnley had the double. I thought, oh, okay, I'll go Ben Mee instead. Don't think Brighton have got any doubles coming up of this.
Don't like centre-backs.
They have got nice fixtures, though. And Dunk is one of the best goal-scoring centre-backs. He always seems to chip in a few over the season, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I'm just...
Just don't captain him. Or was it Duffy that was captain?
Duffy.
Duffy, that game week gone, where everyone was like, Brighton defence. There's captain or triple captain a Brighton defender. And I was like, really? Don't get me wrong. There was logic behind him getting some points, but I was like, I can't make myself captain centre-backs.
Yeah, so 5 clean sheets in their last 6 games, Brighton. And if they had a double game week, absolutely, I'd be all in. But yeah, like you said, Brett, they do have good fixtures. You know, they got Palace, and then they got West Brom away in 26, and yeah, they look solid, seriously solid. And Sanchez looks good in goal as well, you know, because when he replaced Ryan,
just asking him, who's had him on the bench for quite a few games.
Poor Nim.
Well, that's why I don't like having 2 playing goalkeepers, because it's so much of a hassle. I've only done it because potentially I might have needed a Fulham goalkeeper. But that was before I'd done enough research and realised Aston Villa were likely to play in blank game week 29.
Well, you and I have the same 2 goalies, so I'm not going to play him at home to Sheffield United, Areola, because Martinez is a madman, you know. I can see a clean sheet and like another 7 saves.
Well, the reason I brought in Areola was because I was really considering the bench boost.
I bought him in for that bench boost, actually. So, yeah, that's why I bought him in.
So, I suppose until I've used my bench boost, I'm likely to keep them both. But I think I'll just stick with Martinez until that bench boost comes in.
Come on, Raheem.
I get the feeling we are
Come
due
on,
a
Raheem.
Sterling to come off the bench soon.
Sterling to come off the bench.
Sterling to get subbed off, sorry.
I know he's not been doing much, but he's definitely been on the pitch, mate. Well, the thing with Sterling is he could suddenly be the guy at the back post and the ball's put in. Like one of those classic Man City goals where it's drilled across the face of the goal. And he just happens to be there.
So,
Yeah.
Champions League, Dortmund are 3-2 up at Sevilla, and Juve are losing 2-1 away to Porto. A few minutes left.
They struggling at the moment. In the league as well, they're not doing so good.
Switching it a bit, were you guys able to catch the Mbappe Master Show yesterday?
No, I was watching Liverpool.
I have to watch the highlights on YouTube. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I've watched a bit of the highlights. I haven't watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I just waxed lyrical about Thierry Henry reincarnated and stuff. But yeah, for me, he's actually the best player in the world right now. I feel like, Ronaldo, of course, is smashing it in, but
Ronaldo's at Juventus, one on fire. Messi's at Barcelona. There's a lot to be said about that. Neymar's.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Neymar, so yeah.
I mean, I used to be a fan of Neymar, but he's making it hard for me to be a fan of him anymore. But yeah, I can't argue with you right now.
Oh no, it's not a. Oh, by the way, blah 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 blah. It's more of I look at Mbappe and I just think he's the best player in the world right now. I mean, he was cleaning out Jordi Alba and Piqué yesterday. It's highly entertaining, and Barcelona need a solid rebuild in it because they've kept the same squad since their 2011 Champions League win, but they're all 10 years older.
And they brought in Koeman, so that's the least inspiring managerial hiring I think I've ever seen for a club like Barcelona.
Yeah, strange.
Consolidating China.
Well, apparently, they bought in Koeman on a 2-year deal, but the idea was the new president. I don't think that's been finalized yet. Will then look to bring Xavi as manager next season. So Koeman is there for 2 years, but the expectancy was he'll only be there for 1 year.
Imagine signing a 2-year contract and they tell you it's a 2-year contract, but we'll probably get rid of you after one. Wait, you're still going to pay me off?
It's a 2-year contract.
He's probably just thinking, do I get compensated for that year? And they're like, yes. And he's like, okay, fine.
Yeah. But I could see Xavi. It's a bit like Luis Enrique, isn't it? And originally Pep Guardiola, they managed the B team of Barcelona or did somewhere else, and then came and managed the team. And I think the idea is to try and keep Messi, but who knows?
Yeah, but more importantly, Thierry Henry Bournemouth with his great managerial record.
Thierry's a shit manager. He's like Tony Adams, who's a really crap manager as well. Answer the question. Oh, right.
So the question about which kind of FPL player you are.
Well, let me look.
You might want to bring up the options.
Yeah, I am.
Because there's plenty of them.
Sent it to you earlier, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Options are the cowardly safe person. Nope. Society's risky fool. No. Go template or nothing. No. Lucky bastard. No. The I don't care, I have a life guy. No, definitely not. I got 2 kids, but I still look at FPL all the time. The mug who's all about stats and numbers, or the obsessed mental freak. Oh, I'm the last two. Easy. Yeah. I'm all about the underlying stats. I tell my wife about it and it's hilarious, her reaction. She just ignores me.
You tell your wife about the underlying stats?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, babe, should I go for this guy or that guy? She goes, I don't give a shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
You know what she says? She says, go for Salah because I know who he is. And I said, all right, I'll go for Salah.
Well, it's not bad advice, to be fair.
Mate, I tell you what, sometimes the obvious is very grey to us as
don't get me
FPL
wrong,
managers.
I tried to talk to my missus about FPL, but I never talked about the underlying stats.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
literally be like, "Oh, I'm having a great game week. So and so's done this." So-and-so. But I've never mentioned. Oh, guess how many big chances?
Well, I'll be honest, and I'm pretty big on like project. Oh,
Another goal.
Bernardo Silva.
Sterling assist?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't.
It didn't even come from Sterling's side.
Diaz assist. Diaz assist.
Sterling
Maybe?
sitting a
Cancelo
lot more
assist?
central.
Jesus assist.
To be fair, Bernardo Silva could have laid it off for Sterling there. He was
World
quite
number one is
central.
absolutely loving life now. Because world number one doesn't have Gundogan, and now Bernardo Silva's done the business from anyway.
So yeah, he's pretty much matched Ilkay over the 2 game weeks. Over the 2 games.
3 goals, nothing from Sterling. Brilliant.
Pickford, T-Rex hands. He just can't help himself.
This
He's
is the
such a
painful
bad
thing.
goalkeeper. How can he be England's number one? I just don't get it.
1 pointer. Awesome.
So
Pickford's one of those that he's a good shot stopper when he's on form.
No.
But he makes too many errors and he's not always on form. So what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, Pope for me is hands down.
Pope's better, Dean Henderson's better, but he doesn't play. I'd argue there's more than that are better than Pickford.
So yeah, Nuclear, I'd go with the mug who's all about stats and numbers and the obsessed mental freak, because I think a bit too much about silly decisions I've made based on heart over head, because, I like to think with my head, really. So, yeah.
Okay, Nuclear Adams managed to get Chiesa, who has scored the Juve goal, so he's happy.
Haaland's got 2 goals.
Oh, KDB's coming on.
Come on.
All right. Am I bringing KDB in? What can you do in 13 minutes to convince me, KDB?
Don't do it. Next question. Who are you going to take out? Who are you going to take out?
KDB will score 2 goals.
Who are you going to take out?
Jack Grealish.
You got the cash?
Yeah. But it means I'm a lot less flexible with my strikers. I have to stick. I wouldn't be able to bring in Kane if I bought in KDB.
Do you just have the 2 City assets in Cancelo and Gundogan?
I'd also have to transfer out Stones, most likely. Because I'm going to stick with Cancelo. Now I've got him in. Because I've been saying Cancelo's a good pick since like game week 11, but just never brought him in because I had other things to fix. And then, of course, I've brought him in for the free hit for
Sterling's off.
game week 19. Sterling's off. Ouch.
Yep. Sterling off, De Bruyne on.
Where's that sad music button? Do, 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 do.
Could you take out Stones and Gundogan for KDB and Dallas?
Probably, but I don't want to get rid of a player in the form that Ilkay's in until I know you're trying to.
Oh, sorry. I mean Stones and Grealish to Dallas and KDB.
Yes, easily.
There you go, mate. I've sold it to you.
But I need to. I don't like jumping on a player straight away. I know it's KDB, so it's different than saying jumping on, I don't know, another player that returns from injury. But say he re-injures himself 20 minutes into the start of a game I just brought him in for.
I think you're doing the right thing. No, honestly, I mean, I was kind of just teasing a bit, but
yeah.
I like to wait for a player to kind of play a bit. Yeah.
Like they come back from injury, and you're like, maybe they've been rushed back, and then they suddenly get injured again, and they're out for another 9 weeks, and you've just wasted a transfer. And Ilkay's done nothing to deserve to be questioned at the moment. And to be honest, Man City's defence, apart from this game, where, to be honest, I think it's literally the only shot on goal that I can remember of any sort of quality, and they've conceded. Man City's defence has been great.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of those things where am I over-managing by like trying to desperately bring in KDB? When, let's be fair, Stones, Cancelo and Ilkay have done nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. That's actually why I haven't even I might not even bring Kane just yet. I need to see him play, if that makes sense, because he got clips on both ankles, so gotta wait and see.
And
I'll risk a couple of returns just to see if he's like fit.
Yeah. The thing is, for a fact the opposition are going to be like, give him a couple of kicks just to see what happens.
Exactly.
Can I, having someone who's suffered with the Sterling captaincy as well, Brett hasn't said anything in quite a while. Can I just get a check and if you're okay?
Yeah, fine, mate. Just done with tonight now. We're all on the next week, isn't it?
That's the thing with FPL. It's just such a high and low thing, isn't it? Because you can literally go from being on a great run and then a game week just crashes it.
What annoys me is that like every week you build up at a bit of progress, and you have 1 week and it's just like, oh, okay, it's all been for nothing, So it's a waste of time, complete waste of time.
The thing is, the way I look at it is you've got to look at the decision you've made, and logically would you have made that decision anyway? And Sterling with a double game week is never a logical decision. Like, he could have gone crazy. Like, to be fair, I was...
He's been poor most of the season, hasn't he? He's not been this season.
Look, he's had some form.
It was more of a punt than it was more of a hit and hope, really.
Well, no, he's had some form. Wasn't it 3 goals in 5 games before this or something like that? So it's not like he had no form going into
total, he's played in the 24 game weeks. He's got 8 goals and 7 assists on FPL. Which, like there's 8 goals, 0 assists, depending on who's got who in the FPL assist decision room.
Well, look, it was...
You compare that to last season, which was, 20 goals and 6 assists on a probably 2,651 minutes, so about 30 games. Yeah, there's a massive difference. It's still good, he's still doing enough, but it's a massive dip in form from last season. Same with Salah, really.
But you can always say a player's not in form, but it just takes 1 game week for them to hit their form back again, and you never know when that's going to be. And you've got a player like Sterling who has a history of returns that it's possible. It's the same reason why you don't take out Salah after he's had 4 blanks in a row. It's because there's always that possibility that he will suddenly start returning out of nowhere. He'll be on fire again. Whereas, like, say you're less, like, the players that don't have as much of a pedigree in the game or in the Premier League in general, then yeah, if they hit form, if they come off form, you're more likely to not give them that time or take a punt on them. But I see nothing wrong with a punt on Sterling in a double game week. Yes, it's not paid off, but it's the same as I've taken punts on Sane for a double game week when he was on absolute fire, and then he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
it's always possible.
But with Sterling, this is the first season, I mentioned it earlier, where he hasn't really got a guaranteed spot in that team. No one has.
That's why I didn't go there, and I went with Vilke, because the main selling point for me, because I've always thought, should I go Sterling? It's possible he does something, and he's actually played more minutes if you look at it that way this game week. But Ilke seemed the nailed-on player that Pep was looking at, thinking, I need him to play. I mean, to be fair, they've just beaten Everton 3-1, potentially, without Ilke. But this season, and sometimes it's hurt me because during Project Restart, Sterling was on fire. But I've always looked at Sterling and thought, a bit too patchy for me. It's not the type of player I like to own. And he was on absolute fire and did bits for people that had him, and I dropped in rank. So it's just one of those things. Sometimes you get the call right with a player like Sterling, and sometimes you get it wrong.
Yeah, Glenn pretty much summed up in the chat. Man City scores 7 goals while Sterling's on the pitch and gets 1 assist.
Unbelievable.
Which, considering he is good and he is one of England's best attacking.
Yeah, well, he had one
prospects.
chance. He had one good chance over the 2 games and missed it. He didn't deserve any more points than he got because he only had one chance. I'd feel unlucky if he'd had 3 or 4 chances and missed, a couple of or something. I'd feel unlucky, but no, just a very bad decision.
Keep it on the Man City topic. Nuclear is asking if they could possibly finally win the Champions League this season.
I have no idea. I don't know how good the European teams are. I've paid no attention to Champions League once this year.
I mean, I'd still give them a shout because they are playing some very good football at the moment, but I always think it's risky to judge a team's chances in the Champions League based on their form in the Premier League. So I think it's 2 kettle of fish, really, 2 different kettles of fish. And I've seen teams being absolutely dominant, Man City being a case in example, in the Premier League, and then lose games in the Champions League that you thought they were sure to win. So I think they're in with a shout. I think it helps that I wouldn't necessarily look at the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid and a lot of the other big teams as being in the best form of their lives at the moment. So I think that's a plus. But then last season, didn't they lose to, was it Sevilla or was it someone else?
It was Leon.
Leon, yes, they lost to Leon. So we all assumed they'd go past Leon in that Champions League. And then we watched I think Pep's tactical decisions were a bit suspect in that game, and they got knocked out. So I would need to see more of them in the Champions League because it's only just kicked back off for me to make that call. But I think they're in with a shout.
Yeah, I mean, last year something they did when they got past Real Madrid in the last 16 is they kind of went with the false 9, got past Real Madrid and then tried it against Leon, probably to set up against Bayern. I think they would have played Bayern if they got through Leon. So this season, when they've gone with that false 9, I think it's been to set up for the Champions League, and they've actually been performing really well. And I think a lot of that has to do with Diaz as well, just being a top defender at the back. So
yeah, Diaz has been quality, absolute quality.
So I think they'll actually play that false 9 going forward now, and I think they've had enough time to accommodate that formation to play that false 9, pack the midfield, and obviously have a really fantastic defense again now. So I think Bayern Munich are still my favourites, but then after that, I'd go with City. What are your thoughts, Brett?
I gotta be honest, because I still haven't got BT Sport this season. I haven't watched too much of the Champions League, and because I'm so focused on FPL and Premier League content, it's kind of like when the UCL's on, it's kind of like my break a little bit. So I haven't taken much interest. If I think about City winning it, I always just think, no, they won't do it because they just don't seem to have enough to go all the way, Yeah. So even though I love Diaz and how good he's been, I still don't know if they've got enough. They've got the players, they've got the squad to do it, but they just seem to fall,
It's up here, isn't it? They kind of fold, don't they?
Yeah. So they've got the ability to do it, but I don't know. I still think like PSG and Bayern, and I really like the way Atletico are playing at the moment. And like I've got a soft spot for Suarez. Like I always love Suarez as a player, and to see him go to Atletico and like he's just unreal again now. Like
you mean Bitey, but
he was the third best player. He was the third best player in the world for so long. Suarez.
I agree with you.
Like, yeah, he was the one behind Messi and Ronaldo for me. Like he some of the goals he would score is just unreal. Like I think he's such an amazing player. So yeah, I just think there's too many good teams still left. I always like to see a new team win it, so I'd be happy if Man City would do it. But I just don't think they will.
Just makes me think of back in the day FPL when you just had Suarez in your team and captained him. It was that simple.
Yeah, my personal best for many years was like where that season where Suarez had a ban for like 3 games at the start of the season from that bite, like the season before or something. And then this is before I had a YouTube channel. And I was just in a work league, and because he was banned, no one had.
Oh, by the way, Kurt, what's your thing? What are you thinking?
Right, well, we're back, by the way. So, apologies. We had a slight disruption in my internet. The game buffered, so I'm assuming everything just stopped for a little bit. But we are back. We do have a Jeffers Corners question, and we'll do a bit more FPL talk before we go. So, apologies. You did get, for a little bit, I think, a freeze of all of us. So, at least it wasn't just Ray this time with his face cam freezing. So, that's a plus for Ray. Maybe not for the rest of us. But yeah, we're back. So, apologies.
Someone say Ray's webcam froze.
All of our webcams froze, I believe.
But did someone say Ray's webcam froze?
I think Nim was just somewhere laughing because she's like, finally, it's not me behind Kurt.
Did someone say Nim behind Kurt?
Me and Brett are literally like, please, can we just try and go through streams and not freezing on anything where Kurt can go, screenshot.
What about Kurt behind Kurt? Oh, what a stunner that is. Oh. No, sorry, carry on.
Never looked so attractive, mate. Anyway, we were talking about FPL stuff before we got cut off. I believe Brett was mid-sentence about something. I apologise if Brett doesn't even remember what it was.
It was about Suarez. He and I were kind of like loving up Suarez.
Loving up Suarez, the guy that bites people for fun.
Oh, yeah.
But was an amazing player, to be fair. Him and Sturridge for one season, you just put those two up front.
Yeah.
Shall I read out the question?
Yeah, we can go for Ray's question. Oh,
Yeah,
not Ray's question. It's giving you the credit now. Read out Jeff's question. Go for it.
Well, if it's a good question, it's for me, but if it's bad, it's Jeffers. So we got Jeffers Corner's question. So, okay, this week, your category is alternative breakfast, excluding any of the ingredients of a full English, i.e. no eggs, bacon, sausage, tomatoes, baked beans, mushrooms, black pudding, I'll never pick that, fried bread, or toast. So, Kurt, if you could go with your alternative breakfast that doesn't include any of the normal full English ingredients, mate.
Well, I mean, I didn't realise. I'm still going with my original answer. I thought cereal would have been there, but apparently not. But I'm not going to say that because that's not an alternate breakfast.
I was going to say that's pretty standard breakfast.
No,
fantastic. You win.
But when you've got it, and when it's available to you, leftover pizza from the night before hits the spot. It is the best alternative.
I don't think
breakfast.
I can go with my answer anymore because mine was just general leftover takeaway.
So sorry guys, can I add to that? Last week, we had the point system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have the same again. So
yeah,
we all go around and say yes or no. Yeah, cool. So Kurt, what's yours, sorry, mate?
Leftover pizza. Yeah. Again, with Jay, it was tempting to go leftover food in general, but some of it isn't as nice. But leftover pizza, I mean, especially if you've got a still drunk Kurt who had a lot of to drink and also pizza, that's it. It's just you have it cold or you stick it in the microwave or something like that, and it doesn't. You don't get much better than that. So leftover pizza.
Yeah, hands. Yep.
Good shout. Good shout.
Jay,
is that a yes?
Oh yes, sorry. I'm trying to think of something for myself now because I can't go with leftover takeaway because it's too similar. So I have no idea what I'm even going to say.
I'll go if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it. You'll probably say something that I'd be like, damn.
So my heritage is from Pakistan. So when I used to stay with my grandmother, she used to make chapatis, like actually hand make them, with the rolling pin and everything like that. And fry the chapatis in a bit more oil, so it would be something called paratha. So she'd give me that and then have it with like some chutney or something like that. So that was for me just the finest breakfast. So imagine a nice oily chapati, almost like a puri, with a bit of chutney for breakfast.
Yeah, I'd say yes to that because I've had that. I've not had it for breakfast.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't be annoyed if I got given it for breakfast. I'd be quite happy. So yeah, I've got to say yes to that.
Brett, it's not me.
I'll have to agree with you again. I haven't had it for breakfast. I haven't thought about having breakfast, but it's not a bad shout.
Yeah, I'm not too picky when it comes to breakfast. I'm always so hungry in the morning, so
whatever it is, as long as it doesn't have meat, I'm happy.
Yeah,
especially if I haven't cooked it.
That's true. I suppose I am picky if it's not vegan friendly, I suppose, but yeah, in general, breakfast is always good.
What is that? A yes, then, mate. Sorry,
I'll give you all yes. Yeah.
2 full houses straight away.
Love it. Which one of you two are going to say pancakes?
Oh, I was going to say that.
Go for it. That was literally my backup. I was like in my head, I can't think of anything. Pancakes, surely. But go for it. Go have pancakes, mate.
As like a treat, yeah. Like I love pancakes in the morning with a bit of maple syrup or some sugar, lemon. Obviously like chocolate ones are nice as well, or blueberries. But there's so many different types, and it's always so nice in the morning to have pancakes as a treat. So, yeah, I was waiting to say pancakes.
Sorry,
Got an idea though. Got an idea.
Full house again, mate.
Yeah.
I think full house again.
Oh, Jay, no pressure. Jay, no pressure. Yeah? No pressure.
Do you want an idea, Jay? Do you want an idea? I had a backup. My backup, in case I wasn't gone to first, got a feeling leftover food, leftover pizza would have been there pretty early. In and around Easter time, Easter egg for breakfast. Wake up on Easter Sunday.
I mean, I let my kids have it for breakfast.
Yeah, well, obviously when we were younger, I haven't done it a lot. Yeah,
or you put your cereal in it. You put your cereal in the Easter egg.
I thought my chapati was bad.
Yeah.
Well,
but for that one weekend or so, yeah, it hits the spot. Just waking up on a Sunday and having chocolate.
That's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. It's chocolate.
No. It's disgusting as breakfast. I love chocolate, which explains my weight.
It's not my answer, so.
It's not my answer either. Because I already know one person saying no, so I'm going to shoot it and see if I can get something that scores. Would French toast be accepted?
Oh, no.
So I like French toast.
No, because he cares fried bread or toast. So French toast is classified as bread. And French toast is delicious.
I'm not allowed bread?
No. Ooh. Well, saying that, mine is
technically
bread, isn't it?
Because my other would be avocado on toast. Because I like avocado on toast.
I almost said that myself, but I wasn't sure if everyone else would say would like the answer, so I thought I'd go.
Black pudding, fried bread, or toast. Maybe a concoction of something with bread. So with French toast, I'd accept that because you're actually frying the bread. You're not putting it in a toaster.
It's a different preparation. But to be honest...
But it does have eggs, mate.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I asked if it was accepted, because of the eggs. Because that's 2 of the ingredients. So I guess I'll go avocado and toast, and we'll see if Jeff allows it.
You've got to know your audience here, because if you say French toast with the egg, then you're going to get a no from me and not.
No, and I saw your reaction to avocado, so I'm going avocado.
Yeah.
Is it your typical toaster?
I have avocado on toast a lot.
Yeah, but toast as in put the bread in the toaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he says fried bread or toast.
Yeah, but come on.
Grill it.
Grill it, yeah. I can put it under a grill.
You're not meant to help him.
Put it in the oven.
I was about to say.
I can have an avocado sandwich.
Microwave the bread. And then put
fine, I'll just have avocado by itself. Because I like avocado. I feel like saying toast is off the table completely is a bit harsh. Because that's... A lot of stuff is on toast. Avocado on pancakes. There you go. We'll see. That's what I'm going to go with. Avocado on toast. You can say yes or no, and then if Jeff says it's not allowed, then I'll live by it.
Well, I'm going to say yes, because I've had that before with like scrambled eggs and like some salmon or something like that. It's delicious. So, yeah. Yeah, agree.
I know Brett's agreed. I'm worried about Kurt.
I'm a stickler for the rules, and you broke the rules a few months ago with your whole name thing about, this name isn't allowed, but I knew the person because of this name, so I'll give you the points. I'm going to say no.
I didn't break the rules because the rule maker said it was fine. He said
no.
Pele was fine.
I would have said yes if you just said just plain avocado. Avocado on toast, no. Breaks the rules. Got toast. No.
Yeah, but who eats just avocado for breakfast, really?
I don't know.
You have it with toast. So if I'd said avocado and salmon, you'd have just been like, fine.
I would have said yes as well.
I'd have said no for that.
True. You know what? I'll take Brett's yes, and I'll take Kurt's no. For some reason, that is the most viewed part of this stream, our argument about food. Not that anything's been said in the chat, but they've just been watching us argue about food.
WildCats, food debates. Love it.
Anyway, guys, I think we'll call it here because I don't see any more questions. Anyone notice any more questions that we haven't really addressed? I don't think so.
No, I've been keeping an eye on it.
Cool. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this stream. We should be hopefully back next week. at some point. So make sure to follow us on at FPL WildCats on Twitter. Also, we do have an Instagram, exactly the same handle. And of course, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want notifications on YouTube for when we next go live. Thank you, Ray, Brett, and Kurt for joining me for this watch along of the Everton Man City game, and we'll catch you guys later.